a lot of business owners, and I don't think you're one of them because I've been seeing a lot of awesome delegation today. A lot of business owners who have ADHD will not delegate. They
Mm.
are afraid for people to see the chaos. They want to keep it shrouded. They don't want people to see that actually they did this yesterday and they barely got it done and they don't have a process and system. And so they will resist delegating.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I have Skye Waterson here, and this is going to be something that I think every single entrepreneur needs because I don't know about you, but I have got ADHD. We're pulled in a million directions, whether you have ADHD or not. She's going to be sharing with you some strategies and principles to help experts, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, professionals learn to be more productive and handle life better. So she is amazing. She's actually was diagnosed with ADHD, and during her PhD, she actually spent 5 years after her PhD researching how to help overwhelmed business owners focus, get their time back, and actually grow consistent revenue. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're excited, sit back, level up, and let's get ready to be fired up. Hi, Skye. How are you?
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Krista.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. So, did I leave anything out in the amazing intro to you?
Just the massive, massive burnout before I started my PhD and figured out that I had ADHD, but I guess we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So tell me, give me a little bit about your history. So, what made you decide to specialize in this? And I mean, so many people, and I will say that I think even if you don't have ADHD, which I do, I haven't been clinically diagnosed with it, but I have it for sure. But even if you're not, I'm sure that what we're going to talk about today is going to help any type of entrepreneur, expert, professional real estate agent. Correct?
Yeah, 100%. Anybody who feels scattered, whether it's just on Fridays or every day.
Oh, right. Okay, perfect. Okay, so tell me background.
So basically, what happened for me was I was doing my master's. I'm a former academic. I had the sense of you just got to try harder. You just got to go for it. You just got to work harder. And I was doing that. I had two different jobs. I was finishing my master's. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I was getting a lot of caffeine. And I was just in the zone, but it was hard for me. I didn't understand why it was harder for me than it was for other people, and I just kept pushing and pushing until I finished my master's, and I was so burned out that I couldn't do it anymore. I actually got a scholarship, and I don't even really remember it. I was like, I'm out. I spent a year working as a cashier at a bakery, and I was like, this might not be something I can handle anymore. And it was only when I realized that actually ADHD is the thing because I went to my university. I was like, what's going on? Give
Yeah.
me a help. That I was able to start thinking, okay, it might be systems and it might just not be me.
So there's nothing wrong with you. You realize nothing's wrong with me. But I mean, man, to be that burnt out because of the way that your mind deals with things and how you were handling it to actually leave is crazy. All right. So,
Yeah.
what would be what I want to ask you is when you are running a business, there is a lot that is involved, right? And
Yeah.
burnout is a real thing. So much so, like even physically and mentally, I've heard people burn out so bad that they just can't go out to work, and they actually have been bedridden at times. So,
hmm
can you tell me, like, what are the best strategies that you use to help business owners with ADHD or even with not, executives apply the strategies that actually work for their brains to help them actually
hmm
achieve the most amount of success, be the most productive, get as much done. We can just get right into it because I know, like, I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, well, the first thing we want to know is we want to understand why you struggle with this. Because a lot of times what will happen is people will just be like, oh, this is just how brains work. And it's not true if you have ADHD. We struggle with working memory. So we're going to lose everything. If someone says, hey, can you remember to do that? We're like, yep. And then it's gone. We, overestimate, how much we can get done in a day, and we severely underestimate how long things take. We have dopamine struggles, which means that boring tasks feel basically painful. And we also struggle with transition time. So if your day is like meeting, 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 oh, here's an hour, let me get some deep work done, that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get traction. So those pieces what we do is we look at understanding and unblocking each of those pieces. And those are kind of the sand in the engine when you have ADHD that start to make things go from like, this is a lot to this is impossible.
Wow. Okay, so let's break down each one of those things that you said. And if you can give us a walk through a strategy, or we can just choose one of them and kind of go, because I'm sure it's not just, here's
Yeah.
your answer. It's probably more than that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you said, I'm just gonna take this hour. I'm really busy. I'm gonna spend this hour. I'm gonna use it to get a lot done. Let's start with that one.
Yeah. So with that one, what we know from ADHD is that a lot of times, have you ever heard the saying like, oh, if it just takes 5 minutes, just do it now?
Yeah.
That is actually a real trap
Okay.
because you'll take 5 minutes, but then it'll take you 5 minutes to get into it, 5 minutes to do it, 5 minutes to get out of it, 5 minutes. It's a 20-minute task, basically. So in reality, we actually want to chunk things down into groups. So you've got different things you have to do. Sometimes you're in deep work mode and you have to sit down and you have to make a bunch of decisions. You have to, push something forward. Sometimes you're doing podcasts and you want to do like podcast after podcast after podcast. You don't want to scatter them throughout the week. As much as possible, you want to chunk things together so that you have time where you can say, this is the sort of like hours that I'm doing this kind of task. And sometimes people will even theme days, and that's very, very ADHD friendly. If you've ever heard of maker time versus manager time, this is kind of a version of that concept as well.
So, for example, do 4 podcasts in a row on the same day. Don't do one on Tuesday, one on Friday. Try to chunk
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah. Because then you
Mm.
got to get ready for the podcast, you got to get prepped, you got to get makeup done if that's what you're doing. All of those things are going to waste your time. And when you're ADHD, it takes you extra long to do all of those things.
Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. That makes good sense. All right. Okay. So give me another example. So one of them in relationship, that is to chunk things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's talk about like prepping for it, let's just say. I mean, even the
Mm-hmm.
prepping for it and the organizing of it. What are some of the strategies that are ADHD friendly?
Yeah, well, one of the very first strategies that I love to teach for people is when they come to me, and I hear this all the time from business owners. They say, hey, I'm starting the day and I'm supposed to do these things, but I have like 100 things to do. I have 200 things to do. My list is enormous. And one of the things we do is we go through a prioritization filter. I actually have an AI chatbot. You can message me, Krista, at Unconventional Organization, and I'll give it to you and it will walk you through these steps.
Okay, so what is it? So everyone, listen. She's going to be giving you a chatbot that you could utilize if you go
Yeah.
to Krista at.
Yeah, so if you message me, Krista, at Unconventional Organization on Instagram, so that I know it came from you, then I will give you this chatbot and it will walk you through these steps. So you can listen to them, but trust me, the chatbot will do it for you as well.
And we'll put it in the show
Okay,
notes, everyone. We'll put the exact where to get in the show notes as well. So,
awesome, cool. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go, okay, let's brain dump all the tasks that are in my head. Don't look at your emails. Don't look at the other task list that you've ignored. Just go with what's in your head. You want to put that somewhere that you're going to come back to. This is how we filter tasks.
first
So
thing
the
in the morning.
first, yeah, first thing in the morning, or sometimes people do it in the evening before they clock out for work at the end of the day. But you just want to do home tasks, work tasks, everything that's in your head. We want to clear it out so we've got that space for creative thinking and all the things that we're good at. What we want to do then is we want to have a look at that list and we want to ask ourselves, what on this list has to be done today in the next 24 hours, or there will be a significant external negative consequence. And for people who struggle with that concept, I've got a waiting room metaphor, which basically just means if your day went sideways and you ended up in a waiting room for some reason, you were like, this is my day, this is what's going to be happening today. What are the things you would still do on your phone? Or you would have to message someone and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to do that tomorrow because I'm not going to be prepped. That is urgent. Everything else is not urgent. It doesn't mean you won't do it, but I've worked with so many entrepreneurs at this point with this process. Nobody has more than 5 truly urgent things to do that day.
So number one, like prioritize what exactly absolutely has to get done. First, write it down. Write it down first thing in the morning, right before you look at your phone or do anything else. Kind of make that part of your morning ritual or evening ritual.
Hmm.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
what's next? What's next? What else do I need to know about? What else does that make
Yeah.
sense to know about?
Well, the next thing that people say to me is they go, "That's cool, Sky. Like now I know what my urgent tasks are, but then what about everything else?" So the thing I want you guys to remember, this is really fundamental for everything, but especially for entrepreneurship. Your job is not to finish your task list. Your task list is long. And one of the reasons for this is because you have ADHD, which means you're a great divergent thinker, not so great at convergent thinking. You'll have a million ideas, a million thoughts. Your list is going to be very, very long. So what we want to do is we want to look at what needs to be done urgently, and then we want to look at what are those needle movers? What are those important things that's going to be that 20% that's going to give you the 80% return? And usually at this point, people uncover what their most important things are, and then they say, but I don't want to do it. It's too boring. It's too confusing. We have a system for that as well. But that is the stuff you should be doing. The truly urgent and the truly important. You can get to the other things. And often, it's like dominoes. Once those first dominoes start falling, you'll have the resources to actually either have somebody else tick them off your list or get them done way faster. So a lot of times people get really trapped in this idea of I have to tick off my list, I have to tick off my list, and then they don't get anything done.
Yeah, I always say like I think lists are kind of counterproductive because to-do lists never go away. And then it tells your brain, oh my gosh, you didn't get that done. It's like kind of a
Yeah.
negative reinforcement
Hmm.
of you're not good enough, you're disorganized, you didn't get enough done, and all you focus on is what you didn't do instead of focusing on what you did do. So I do not like
Exactly.
lists for that reason.
Yeah.
Or to-do lists, like because it's you're gonna
Hmm.
always be to-doing all the time. It never
Yeah,
goes away.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So we write the tasks down so we don't lose them because we don't want them stuck in our working memory, but we filter it. So we are only focusing on the urgent and we're only focusing on the important. And we'll get to the other stuff. We'll look at it once a week and we'll see what needs to be updated.
Yeah, so prioritizing is very important. And I always like
Hmm.
to think too, like I always say, what has to be done today? Like what is it an absolute, no matter what, today cannot end until like I can't put my head on this pillow, I
Exactly.
cannot end it until this is finished. What's at least try to do 1 to 3 most important things. I like that. That's good.
Hmm.
Okay, so at least so you said divergent thinker versus congruent thinker. What's the difference?
So divergent thinking just means if you think about a little mind map, where the people who can click on the mind map and we can explode it, we can say, well, actually, if you think about it from this context, we could do this, and yeah, A, B, C, but what about E, F, G, and all those kinds of things? We can kind of come up with new ideas. We're the people in the room, and this is a great strength of ADHD, where people goes, huh, I never thought about this. I never thought about it from this perspective. I never thought about it like this before. Versus convergent thinkers who are kind of like, these are the three ideas I had. Which one are we going to do? And there's not much ideating past that. So we're more on the divergent thinking group, which makes us amazing. Every single person who's listening to this who's an entrepreneur has probably got themselves out of a sticky situation with some, really great divergent thinking, pulled some things out of a hat. But we need to know that we also struggle with convergent thinking. So it's those strong strengths, strong weaknesses.
Awesome. What other questions should I ask you? Like, what am I missing that, that I'm not even thinking about? Because number one, I have ADHD, and number two, that because you are such an expert in it and I can see that, what else do we need to know that can give the most value to the audience?
There's a couple of pieces. I mean, I think one of them is understanding that you're probably not seeing your business effectively. A lot of people's businesses are kind of shrouded in, shadow. I call it like scaling chaos. You're driving down a highway, it's going faster and faster, but the lights are off and you're just like, ah. And so one of the things we want to do with that, usually when you're talking to people who don't have ADHD, they'll say, well, you should get an SOP process, you should get some kind of organizational chart, and you go, okay, sure. Maybe you do it, maybe you give it to somebody else and it goes in a drawer and you never look at it again. So one of the things that I recommend that people do when they have ADHD is they actually take a minute, and you can do this by hand or using Miro or something, and you draw out a map of what your business looks like, kind of like a pipeline map, where you're going, okay, this is how we acquire customers. This is how we do lead flow. This is how we make sales. This is how we retain, and this is how we do recurring revenue, if that's what you're doing. Very basic, just to give yourself a sense of it. I've worked with a lot of business owners, some of them even multi-million, and their acquisition pipeline, like how people are coming into their world, is not at all connected to how they're making sales. It's just, there's no link there. So understanding, okay, this is what it looks like. And then really crucially going, okay, who's responsible for each of these pieces? Because that's when we move into delegation, which is incredibly important. And like so many parts of business, it needs to be done specifically for ADHD. What can I delegate? Do all of those boxes, I'm going to do, earned media, and then I'm going to do Facebook posting, and then I'm going to, jump on a sales call. Do they all say your name? Because
Yes.
that's a recipe for burnout. And even if they, whoever's name they say, linking at that point, like let's have a link to like how this works. So you could jump in to your business at any time and go, oh, that's interesting. Like there's this, I do sales there. How is that working right now? And you can click in it and it can actually, show you the steps so you can see who's responsible and the steps really, really quickly without going through a pile of documents you're never going to read. So those are the kind of processes that I teach as well.
Also, too, I think even with convergent thinkers, as you were saying, when they click on that, when they have that process, they might be able to think of even more ways that the average person wouldn't be able to think about to be able to help make it even be more efficient and effective to then delegate it out to the appropriate parties.
Exactly, exactly. And the other piece that comes in at this point is, a lot of business owners, and I don't think you're one of them because I've been seeing a lot of awesome delegation today. A lot of business owners who have ADHD will not delegate. They
Mm.
are afraid for people to see the chaos. They want to keep it shrouded. They don't want people to see that actually they did this yesterday and they barely got it done and they don't have a process and system. And so they will resist delegating.
Oh, wow. Man, I am a master delegator. It's part of the reason why I'm so successful because I've learned how to delegate, I
Yeah.
think sometimes people too think no one can do it as good as I can, which is completely not true, right? Like I try
Hmm.
to stick in my zone of genius as much as possible. And I coach people on that. Like, what is your zone of genius? Stick to that as much as possible and delegate the rest. Now, what about
Yeah.
when people like a lot of people don't have the ability to delegate, right? Even though I will say
Hmm.
everyone, there's VAs that you can get for $4 or $5 an hour, even though I pay mine much more than that. But that can absolutely do an amazing job helping you. So if you haven't done that, every single person I believe could double their business by hiring a VA. That's a whole nother podcast. But so for those that maybe say, well, I don't have anyone to delegate it to, what would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very tricky conversation. So when I'm working with clients, we'll do focus balance growth. The first thing we do is we do a 30-day focus to profit sprint. The purpose of that is we want to understand what is the 20% that's going to get you 80% return to grow your revenue. Because yes, if you're not making sales, you're not a business, you're just,
Yeah.
starting out. Then we want to go and say, okay, where do we want to invest this? So usually one of the first things that I encourage people to invest in at that point, and I have systems and things to help you do that, is getting a VA or some kind of assistant because it's going to help you with accountability. If you have ADHD, you're going to do a lot better hiring somebody earlier than other people would recommend. So other people might recommend, oh, you don't need to hire somebody. Well, that's because they're great at admin. They're great at ticking things off and doing their to-do list. And they need someone to come in maybe in the marketing space and come up with ideas because that's the thing they're not good at. You're the opposite. So you actually need someone to come through and contact people and follow up with sales, chats and things like that. And you're going to be in that creative zone a lot more. So my recommendation is switch it on its head. Make sure that the first person you hire is somebody who's going to help you with that accountability and those systems. And if you can't do that, then that's the conversation we have. How do we get that revenue?
Ooh, awesome. Okay, good. Awesome, great. So tell me a little bit about what it looks like for someone to work with you. I mean, what are the different types of things that you have? I know you've got, again, tell them where they can go again for their bot.
Yeah, so you can go to at Unconventional Organization on Instagram, and you can just message me, Krista, and we'll give you the bot. So that'll help you get started. But my program essentially, it's a process that we go through. It's a hybrid model. It's coaching, but not like you've expected it before because it's all ADHD built from the ground up. So we do a combination of one-on-one sessions with me to get you really focused so you can understand exactly where your business needs to go next. We have the 30-day challenge that you jump into that people have done amazing things. They've tripled their revenue. They've filled their client load. Obviously, everybody's, mileage varies, but we've seen a lot of awesome things and we build you systems that are specific for your brain. Because a lot of people are like, I know how to do this stuff, but I'm not actioning it. And that action, that's the piece that's missing, and that's the piece that we help with specifically.
Oh, good. Yeah, everyone, I think you should go and take that. Skye, is there anything else I missed that you want to discuss to help people where I should have asked you?
No, I think we're good. I mean, I think that the only thing I would say is just a lot of times, and I've been this person, people will say, yeah, that's cool, but like I should probably just try harder. Because that's what we get told by everybody else,
Mm,
just try harder, just focus more. And the
yeah.
truth is, that's just how you burn out. When you have this kind of brain, it's adjusting the systems for you, and then it feels good. People often come to me and they'll be like, okay, take me away, make me learn these horrible things. And then they do it and they're like, this is really fun. It's like, yeah, because it's made for your brain.
Oh, good. So that people are actually enjoy doing it. And then they probably feel
Exactly.
a sense of purpose. And when they get your bot, will they be able to then they'll find out more information about the challenge
Yeah. Yeah,
or
yeah. If you do the bot, but you have to get to the end. You got to do the bot, get focused, and then it will give you a link to learn more.
Okay, great. Skye, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you were just as fired up as I am. And I will tell you what, the information that she gave is very practical and it doesn't just work for if you have ADHD, it works for every single business owner. So feel free to go through the process. And Skye, thank you so much for being here. You are wonderful, and I appreciate what you're doing for the world. I always end every podcast with one way, and that is this. If you had to give one piece of advice that whether it's business, relationships, love, inner peace, joy, doesn't have to be business related, but it can be. What would that
hmm
one piece of advice be?
If you hate it, don't do it that way.
Ah, I like that. I've never had anyone say that if you hate it, don't do it that way. Makes complete sense. All right, everyone. Remember, knowledge is not power, but taking action is. Implementation of that knowledge is where the success comes from. And I hope you are just as fired up as I am. And then be sure to make sure you attend our 3-day event for agents. Go to our socials and make sure you show up. We teach everything marketing, sales, whether you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, coach, consultant. We can help you with sales, marketing, funnels, and how to stand out and be the go-to in your profession. Anyways, make it a great day. Thank you so much, Skye. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.